Momin asks, I hold a diploma in Islamic Banking and Insurance from IIBI, along with a master's in Management Studies and Finance, and have been working in a conventional private bank, but have had problems getting into the Islamic finance industry. How should I go about it? Would a PhD in Islamic finance help? I think what you have already in terms of academic background is fairly strong. In terms of getting a certification, obviously something practical would also help. I think a PhD is not necessarily going to help you that much at this stage, because that means 3 to 4 years of your life, while the ultimate result may or may not be helpful. Whereas I think if you get actual practical experience right away, given your conventional private banking experience, it's obviously more useful. So something practical is obviously better than something academic.
I'd second that. I mean, just purely at the level of my own bank, if I look across most of the individuals working in senior management positions or people who I liaise with, I don't think anyone has a PhD. And the sole exception of a PhD, of someone coming as a PhD, I think he was recruited more on the basis of his previous experience than the fact that he had a PhD. So a PhD is usually a pointer to someone entering, being more research orientated, perhaps going into the field of academia more. I suppose if you're looking to enter the industry, then I don't think a PhD would be necessary, and definitely in terms of what you've written in regards to your experience you already have, I think you've got the essential tools to make the transition. It would just be a case of banging on the door.
Okay, next question. This one, Angelica. Okay, Angelica, Assalamu alaikum to both speakers and all the participants. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I'm a lawyer with a postgraduate degree in law, 7 years PQE, 4 years UAE experience based in Dubai. As a lawyer facing a large amount of cases related to Islamic banking and Sharia compliant investments, I'm very interested in expanding my very brief knowledge of Islamic banking by obtaining Ethica certificate. The subject is very much of interest to me, to the point that I am considering a career switch. Would the certificate be beneficial, sufficient to me as a lawyer in pursuing a career in Islamic banking in industry in the region? Are there any training opportunities available with any reputable local institutions in order to gain a high standard of practical knowledge and experience? What sort of employment opportunities would be available for me? Good news is we have several lawyers currently currently working on their CIFE certification at Ethica, and in fact, our subject matter experts, some of them are actual practicing lawyers, award-winning lawyers, in fact, in Islamic finance. For instance, Imran Mufti from Levels, with whom we work extensively, and with whom we're also in the process of putting together one of the most advanced CIFEs in the industry, the advanced CIFE in law. So it is an important area, and it is specific to lawyers. And it's important that lawyers have Islamic finance product knowledge, because ultimately, what does an Islamic finance lawyer do? He helps document, execute, and review Islamic finance transactions, and to a large part that involves a lot of product knowledge. So you're not just duping and revising contracts, but you're also trying to get your hands around structuring and executing these transactions. So this requires in-depth Islamic finance knowledge, product knowledge. So to answer your question in terms of would the certificate be beneficial? Obviously, our certificate is designed for people from a broad background, not just lawyers. But I think what you should do is get a basic general certificate first, and then move on to an advanced certificate in law.
I just want to comment on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you done, Sunil?
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment. I mean, this as Atif highlighted, I think a lot of what I do is actually, well, a lot of what Angelica probably does overlaps with what I do and vice versa, in the sense that I often have to review documentation, and a lot of the time I'm involved in structuring and liaising with leading law firms. And it's a consistent theme. I mean, as you're probably aware, if you're based in the region, from what I gather, you've worked on Islamic finance transactions. It's a key field, and you'll find almost all the major firms have an Islamic banking unit, or they have experts in Islamic banking, and it's something that's a key differentiator when it comes to counsels. And so I didn't quite gather what you meant by career switch, whether that would entail you leaving your law firm or leaving law and perhaps switching more formally into the field. So you'd enter, for example, as internal counsel within Islamic banks. If that's what you mean, then I think your experience would actually be huge plus. And because many Islamic banks are looking now for experienced, highly qualified, qualified lawyers, if you're keen on making the switch, Atif is a point of contact. You can contact him, and I'm sure he knows myself. He knows other individuals who he can forward your CV to. But in regards to qualifications, I think it's a definite advantage. And the brief amount that I've seen Ethica, I'm not affiliated to them in any way, so I'm not plugging them. But in that they do, they're very solid when it comes to practical experience. And I do believe that as part of their ongoing modules, they're looking to cover documentation, which is something that it's not very rare. I mean, it's not there in the industry. Specific documentation, how to go about drafting, how to go about reviewing the specific Sharia issues that arise when it comes to documentation. And I think if something like that was to be there, then that would be a huge advantage. But there's nothing that beats experience, and if you've already got some experience and you're looking to make the transition, then that would be a huge plus.
Okay. One thing I could also point you guys all to is if you go to, you can get free contracts to download. Just go to www.ethicainstitute.com and click on the training videos page. It's on the header of the home page. If you see the training videos, you'll actually see at the very bottom standardized contracts for all the major products, and those are free of charge. So you guys all have access to that, and lawyers and bankers alike will benefit